I am honored to be joined by Anthony Foxx. He's a former Secretary of Transportation. Thank you so much for sitting down with us this morning.
No, happy to do so.
Yeah, how are you doing? How is the event so far?
Oh, the event is wonderful. SAE does a great job with the World Congress. It's great.
Let's talk about that. You've been a keynote speaker before.
Yeah.
Why is SAE important? What value do you get out of it?
SAE is a combination of practitioners, engineers, designers that are thinking deeply about second, third stage order issues in technology and transportation. They were amazing in developing a framework for us to understand the different gradations of autonomous vehicles, for example. And it's that kind of thought, leadership, and standard setting that allows agencies like my former agency to then take those standards and then put them into policy.
Let's talk about autonomous cars for a second. How can the auto sector and the tech sector work together in the best possible way to make it happen?
You know, I think there's a lot of ways that folks can work together. I talked about some of them today. There are obviously issues around privacy and cybersecurity that I think are going to be more industry-led, and having the leadership and thought leadership of a group like SAE on those issues is critical. I also think that the technology industry is by its nature a bit disruptive and will test some of the conventions of how you measure safety against what the department typically does, and I think that can be healthy. Maybe there are new models, new approaches, new ways of understanding safety that are technologically driven, and so SAE can also help be a clearinghouse for that as well.
Well, new ways and also a new administration.
Yeah,
let's talk about that and where you see it heading as a result of it.
Well, look, I think you've got in Secretary Chow an eminently capable person. She's very smart. She was the #2 at USDOT in the first Bush administration, former Secretary of Labor, and also someone who I think has an interest in technology. So my expectation is that she'll be very hands-on as this industry grows.
We're seeing a lot of shared transportation. Do you think, how important do you think it is to foster that and to grow that? Where do you think that's headed?
I think we're going to see significant changes in purchasing of automobiles, and perhaps a shift as automation comes more online from more consumer-driven to more business-to-business driven auto sales. And I don't know if that's a net increase or decrease, but what I do think is that consumers are increasingly going to be interested in buying the trips they actually use, and businesses are going to find ways to market to other businesses to provide fleets for autonomous vehicles.
How important do you think it is to have smart cities? You were a mayor once.
Sure.
You understand the struggles, but
super important because you know, the things that we've known about transportation in the past are limited, and now that we have much more data and the ability to analyze that data in new and different ways, it's really changing the way cities behave. And I'll give you an example. Years ago when I was a mayor, we had a 4-lane road that was a huge clog point in the city. And our engineers came back and said, let's reduce the lanes from 4 to 3 and we'll get more throughput. And I said, there's no way you can do that. Well, it turns out the 2 middle lanes were turn lanes for people, and we had people trying to make left turns and they were holding traffic up, and people in the right lanes were trying to get into the left lanes to turn. So creating that middle 3rd lane gave people who were making left turns a place to go, and it actually allowed the traffic to move through. So we actually got more traffic counts. But little decisions like that are now going to be much more likely to happen because we'll have much more data, much more information on which to base those decisions. And I think we're going to get more utilization out of the existing network as a result.
And maybe even decrease road rage.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be super.
Well, thank you, Mr. Foxx, for sitting down with us.
Oh, I'm happy to do it.
Best
Absolutely.
of luck here.
Thank you.